I just poured myself this beautiful cup of tea. So I'm going to be drinking it while I'm talking because this is really good timing to talk. Stella's snoring. They just did the flyover. They're so punctual. 6:15 every morning. I think there's probably even some earlier ones, but definitely 6:15 every morning you hear it. It sounds definitely like there's two, and that is what Monkey Works was showing too, like that they aren't just like one plane flying around, that there is a military, like, I can't remember the word, like it's military action or something. That wasn't the word. You could go in and watch that thing. I told my friend the other day and she said, yeah, I've watched him a few times and he's always saying there's military movement. But the thing is that there it keeps being stuff. And I think it is lucky that we have some of these people who are so obsessed on certain topics because it, you know, I mean, they still have stuff they're going to have to go through. Like, I just, there's a lot of stuff like, because everybody's just so focused on one or two things, you know, they're not in the whole thing. They're not seeing the whole thing. So anyways, a lot of these people still have a lot they're going to have to go through. But, you know, it's really fortunate that we have some of these people who are really hyper-focused in bringing information forward. So even if they're not perfectly accurate all the time, or they get worried and think like, oh, this is about to happen, it's for our own discernment. You just need information. You don't go in and be like, oh, he said, so that's it. This is going to happen. I think that's why people get so distressed over the dates, as they get so much like, well, it's going to happen, and then it doesn't. And it's just one disappointment after another. But it's expectation, you know, we get hung up on these dates and then we get disappointed. So I try and keep as detached as I can. But there's definitely disappointment that comes over and over and over with this whole situation. And it is a challenge to stay faithful and to know that this is just a transition, you know. So one of the things I was going to say, though, about that was this wasn't even what I was going to talk about, so that's why I'm kind of thrown for a second. It was with the planes and stuff like that, and they're being like, I know this has been going on for a couple months. I know because I've been paying attention. Like, I look at the sky, I look at the clouds, I look at the sun, I watch the trees. Like, I'm tuned in to what's around me. And these other people aren't, just like what I was talking about yesterday. They're focused on something else that's outside of them. And it's not nature or their environment. It's focused on, you know, what other people think of them. And these people are all so suspicious. It's so weird because they all think everyone is lying except the government. The government, that's the ones who don't lie. Everyone else, you're all liars. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're going to be having to, you know, go through here pretty quick. So, just let me take a sip. It's just like the perfect temperature, but I was like, I was already set up, and I was like, oh, my tea. Hold on. So I'll just spill it on myself. Oh, and speaking of the tea, I just want to say this too real quick, is because, you know, I've had such a problem with creamer. I bitch about it all the time. I'm trying to get off the coffee mate and all of the chemicals and stuff like that, and then everything. Like, I know that we need to be as the most purest that we can be. So we need like half and half of creamer that comes right out of a healthy cow that is taken care of and loved by a person, you know. Like, we need stuff that is real, not this corporate world that they've created of, you know, industry and enslavement. So just trying all these different creamers. But I was thinking about last night, like, I mean, is any of these companies going to be around? They're all like every one of these food, you know, Frito-Lay, Nabisco, all of those different Keebler, all of these different things that you have that we think of as being, I think a lot of people think like, oh, that's, you know, Keebler. That's Keebler cookies. And, you know, They are made by, you know what I mean? They think it's smaller than what it is. They don't realize that anything that started out small was bought out by the corporation, and then they turned it into what they want, because that was their way of shoving us out and controlling the system, controlling what we consume. So when you go up to who owns these places, it's all owned by the same fucking people. So a lot of this stuff is gonna be gone, you know, our creamers and stuff like that. And I know people who know that, you know, and they start stocking up. But, you know, like I said, like, when does it end? Like, we're gonna have to move forward in a certain direction. So to me, it's start looking in that direction. Start trying to consume what is more towards our goals, kind of, you know what I mean? So anyways, the thing I was going to talk about was an email, Amber. And, you know, like, I totally, oh, girl, or guy, whoever. I mean, we can't be gender biased, right? Name can be, you know, lots of different people with different names. So anyways, Amber, that to me, you know, I just went through this experience. So kind of just relate it to what I went through. And it is hard. It's very isolating. And yeah, if you're awake in certain areas, it's very limited over how many other people are around you. And, you know, there's just certain areas where they're very, very, very consumed by the narrative. And so, you know, and we're in one of those states where there's it's heavy on the you know, brainwashed side, and not so much on the other. And so you know, that's already a difficult thing. But this is where you got to remember so much, is that your soul put you there for a reason. Like, it's not an accident. There's no accident that I'm here. And I mean, mine, in the case of me being here, I mean, it was like magical. Like, how I ended up being here, how it all fit together. Like, it was like, I know I was put here. And yeah, there's lots of times where I'm like, why? Why? Oh, and you know, and I don't know, is it so that we do bring a certain energy, because we really have energy that we are putting out. And it really does make a difference when we're putting out energy that is awake, coherent, you know, with the program, or sees through the program, you know, is developing their own program. But you start seeing through so much. You see through people's intention and everything. So, and they don't realize it. Like, they don't know how transparent they're being. And it is, it's not funny, but it's funny, you know. So for me, the thing was, you know, when I had somebody come here and stay, because I loved this place. You know, when I knew I had gotten here, I questioned all the time, like, I don't understand why I'm here, why there's not other people awake, why I'm so isolated. And, you know, when we're in isolation, it is kind of like, it's about a deep rest. It's like your soul is really trying to learn something or whatever. So what you're going through, there's a reason why you feel so challenged, because you're in the middle of some lessons, you're in the middle of some growth. And a lot of times you don't even know it until it's after. And you look back and you go, oh, that's what I got out of that. Oh, man, yeah, I see. I've changed. Because you're noticing things that you didn't notice before. You know, the way people treat you and stuff. But it's elevating you. Because you will see, there's a lot of different reasons. And it's hard to say, and, you know, unless you're right there specifically with somebody. Because there's so many reasons why a soul goes through each incident that it goes through, the way it goes through it. And that's why it's so important to go on your internal and to connect with yourself and ask yourself those questions, like why and what and stuff, and they'll answer you. So for me, when, you know, I loved my place, and I was already, you know, I'd been already a year of quarantine. Even that first year, you know, I got out of the house and I went on that road trip, and everything was just closed down. And then And I don't know, everything's just weird. Like people like I know right now are sitting here talking about going on a freaking vacation. It's like, I don't understand this mentality. These things don't do anything. That is an illusion. You think you're going out and you're safe from illness. What? Ugh. And during a global pandemic, you're going to go out and travel? I don't know. Like I'm not talking about going in a car and driving around by yourself and looking at the sights. I'm talking about going to an airport, being around thousands of people who have been traveling and are, I mean, if you're going to go into a place where there's a lot of sick people, well, I'd say probably an airport is one of them. I don't know. But people are going to wake up the way they're going to wake up. So anyways, back to my story. So hold on. So when this person moved in, my one daughter, she, she's had issues with me since she was little. She, she left home young. She got pregnant in high school and, decided she's going off to make her life. Wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't stay home, wouldn't finish school or anything. She was like, no, I'm going to go move in with them. I'm 18. I can do what I want. So she, went and lived her life. And I was like, you're going to have a lot of lessons. This is going to be hard. You're going to have a hard time. And, she was just like, I don't care. They're my lessons, shut up. Quit trying to control me. It's like, okay. So yeah, it was a lot of stuff, but somehow I think it all shifts back somehow. Like when things go wrong for people, somehow it shifts back to their parents. Like, oh, everything's going wrong, but, if my parents would have done this, I would have been better. If my parents would have done that, I would be a better person. All of that kind of stuff. And that's like a process in development that you have to go through to understand and look at yourself and go like, oh, wait a minute. I made that choice. Oh, wait, I decided about that. Oh, that was my experience all along. So it takes a lot of going in, and that's why all this stuff is happening for people, because you have to go in. You're stagnant in your growth as a soul until you can go in and look at yourself and accept yourself and grow and heal old wounds and stuff like that. But, we are in this period of time when the universe is making this shift, but all of these shifts are happening. It's not just instantaneously, like the universe shifts and all of a sudden the people wake up. No, it is like this. It's just like a river or something, and how the water runs and how it affects each thing as it goes by. So, anyways, everybody's going at their own pace, but. So, when she came here to stay, she had reached a crisis point. She's had where the universe has just been, every time she tries to get up, the universe just knocks her down. Well, to me, when you come at life from a soul perspective, they're telling you something. Believe me, they are telling you something. And it's time to listen. But, ego can be a little bitch to these people because it will misdirect them. And when they're not tuned into their soul, then they're listening to their inner guidance that they believe, but it's being misdirected because their ego is so inflated and it's doing a lot of the work. And if you're not tuned in and have really good discernment, you can't tell where your messages is coming from. And that's why I've said before, like people who are getting all this negative messaging, you've got to cut that off. You've got to recognize and cut it off. But so anyways, I could see that the universe is trying to, get her to, there's something she's blocking. We block things ourselves. So when she came here, she just came in like a thunderstorm, man. And she had no problem telling me how much she hated me. How much she hated me, how much she hated being here, how much she hates my house. I mean, she just got through here just nonstop complaining. Oh, it stinks. Oh, I hate it here. Oh, I hate the weather. Oh, my, just nonstop. And then come out and lecture me on that I'm negative because I'm watching David Rodriguez talk about, the invasion. So But I'm like, okay, but you're just nonstop beating me down with your negativity. You're complaining about everything nonstop. That's like an energy vampire. You're just sucking the life out of me so that you can feed your own energy, your own toxins that you are trying to distract yourself legitimately away from your own healing. And there was things that she said that was just so direct, like I could see straight through it. And, I tried to come at it, with kindness and say, hey, you've got some issues with me. You need to heal. Oh, right away, that just triggered, how dare I think I know anything? It's like, yeah, but all I got to do is speak. All I got to do is fucking look up and you're triggered. That is coming from in you. I'm not doing anything. I've got triggers in you. You've got to recognize them. Well, she didn't want to do that, but she just continued to complain. And, her idea was, I just got to get away from her. She's just a crazy person, and screaming and yelling at me and stuff like that. And if I talked to somebody who was not fully awake, and even be partially awake, they'd be like, oh, kick that bitch out. Fuck her. You don't need that shit. Fuck that. And then if I talk to somebody who is spiritual, they'd be like, okay, kick her out. But also you need to really look at, why are you going through this? What is it that you need to heal and stuff like that? So, this went on for, I swear, it seems like it was getting to be a year, but I don't know. I think it was sometime last spring that she moved in, and then she tried to leave a couple times and would just come right back. And now she's left again, and I don't know. I think it's a really bad idea for her to come back, because it was just stagnating her growth. It was just making her into more bitter and more mean. I mean, some of this stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, I would hate to have to face the fact I just said that. Like, and she would take things completely wrong that I would say. Like, she couldn't understand what I was saying. And that's why I was like, it doesn't do any good. You cannot help these people heal. They can't hear what you're saying. One of the days she was out here just raging her head off, just screaming like a maniac, and, just freaking out, just letting her emotions just barrel out. And the people who, and there's, it's not just her. I mean, this is just a way that humans have adapted to their environment, is this, let everything build up and then just rage it out and explode it on everybody else. So you release this built up energy in you, but you've just spewed it out. Like you just, spewed diarrhea on everybody else. Those are things that each person will have to face in themselves, but it is a very toxic behavior. But it's not just toxic for the person who's doing it, it's toxic, or being done too. It's toxic for the person who's doing it. That's why I try and say all the time, like, if you've got these toxic behaviors, you really need to just pull it in and start looking at yourself. Stop thinking, however it is, whatever you're thinking that you need to control in this thing with these other people that's getting you so worked up like this, you've got to pull it in for yourself, because when it's all said and done and you have to face the stuff that you have said and your attitude towards people, it's going to be a lot. And you're just piling. It's like, to me, all the things that she would do, it was like she was filling her suitcases. It was like she was filling them with more toxic behavior so that she would have to unpack all of that later. And it was just like, oh my God. It was a point where I was like, okay, well, this is your soul's journey, man. But so when she was raging, and I went in because her dad that, gave the sperm, I got divorced from him when she was 6 months old, which now looking at that, there's so much time when people were like 6 months, it's good if you get divorced when the kids are really young, because they won't even remember. But the thing is that in their soul, they remember. There's stuff that is like a sense of loss. It's a sense of, things, upheaval. Like, I don't even know all the stuff like that she went through as a child for that, going back and forth. But anyways, her dad was, he's, he's a mentally ill homeless person now. So this was my first love. So, well, I don't think he's homeless anymore. I think he lives, I think the state has provided him shelter and stuff. But yeah, he is somebody who could never function in normal society. He's got a lot of issues and a lot of anger, a lot of rage and stuff like that. And then the dad who raised her, the younger girl's dad that I was with for such a long time, that taught me a lot about life. Very, very lot. But he was a horrible, horrible rager. He had horrible, horrible rage problems, So she got all of this, it was like being trained as a small child. You got it in your genes and you got it in your training behavior. And so, she was taught that. I'm not saying like, oh, she's bad. She just, I'm just saying that we get taught things, but it's up to us to change that, It's up to us to go like, hey, no, I'm going to dump that right on out of this cup. Raging is not what I want to be because I don't want to have to deal with the aftermath. And, it's a lot better to center and pull myself in, figure out why am I triggered? What can I do about this? Should I go for a walk? Do I just need a day to myself? Like, what is it I need to process what I'm going through? And, that takes a lot of getting there because we have not been trained to do that. And I know that that is what all of this, we're going towards that way of being able to pull in and do that kind of stuff. But it's like a new language for us all, of how to live a healthy lifestyle. So, there's no shame in anybody's behavior kind of right now to me, even though there's a lot of toxic behavior going on, but they don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people who are doing it thinking that they're doing it in that way. I think they just are reactive and they haven't seen themselves clearly or seen the situation clearly. So it's just everything's out of balance. But so I had left a note on the mirror. And I thought, to me, it made total sense, but I'm in a place in my spiritual growth of like, I want to look at myself. I want to see my hidden monsters inside because I want to get rid of them. I want to feel lighter. I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. I don't want to feel mad and angry and blaming others for my life and stuff. So I left this note and it said, what's looking back at you right now is the worst sides of Doug and Dave. And she took it completely different than how I meant it. And that's what I mean. Like, there was so many conversations where it's like you say something, but everything is taken completely wrong. And where I start being like, okay, we really can't talk. Like, it is really like trying to decipher two different languages. It was really, really weird. And she started noticing, she's kept saying, this is like the Twilight Zone. Like, I don't get you. And then plus, she would want to change me, because, so she was constantly, not just, my house smelled and this sucks, but every time that we would have a conversation, she would say something. And then I would give my response, which is always based on like spiritual or soul or whatever. It's always a lot deeper than people want to go, always. And then always the reaction would never be a conversation. It would always just be, why are you that way? Why are you saying that? What is wrong with you? Why can't you just, it would just go into that every time. And it'd just be like, oh my God, I don't want, this is exhausting. Why would I talk to somebody who for the rest of the day, then I have to be belittled and told that there's something wrong with me and there's something wrong with my whole existence. And energetically, things started breaking all over. And I knew it was her hate for being here that it was breaking things, because she has a really, really strong energy. When I would be out here, I could feel, I could feel her thoughts. I knew what she was thinking. And I could feel this energy coming out. And then plus, once I heard what she had been saying to other people, it was just like, blew my mind. And I was just like, how, you just hate me or something? Like, it's so weird. But, she doesn't hate me. She doesn't know how to deal with her emotions and her feelings. And she's got a lot of unhealed stuff. And so, there's a lot of people dealing with unhealed stuff in this life, but there also gets to be a point where, is this even from this life? Like, what is it that we're battling here, Because this doesn't make any sense. And this one, it did just come to a like, okay, let's just stop talking. There's nothing, this is pointless. And she said she needed to move away. Otherwise, our relationship would be destroyed. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't come out and tell somebody you hate them every fucking day. They're going to take that to heart. But when people are raging, they're just saying words. They're just using words to just release their energy, and they're throwing them at you. And, they're like got a knife out, stabbing you with their words. But it's all gone. Once they do it, it's just like, oh, I feel better. And they don't even, I think they don't even think about the stuff that they say. But you can't get away from yourself. It's impossible. I mean, even in death, people think like, even in death, you're standing there waiting for you. And you're going to answer to you. You're going to go over it. And you're going to be shamed and humiliated. People think like it takes another person to make them feel shame and humiliated. No, you do that all by yourself. When you wake up, you go out on a Saturday night and you drink too many shots. You wake up in the morning, there's nobody sitting there judging you. It's you. You are the one who is sitting there looking over what you did. And that is what happens when you die. So even if you can't, like, there's so many people like think, oh, they're not going to even face that. They're not going to ever look at themselves. They're going to be abusive forever and stuff. You can't get away from yourself at all. But one of the things, though, I was learning through this was this kind of like a detachment. Like, you can feel your emotions, you can be out there, you can be crazy, you can be all over the place and stuff. Just, you gotta set boundaries. I would set them, she had a hard time obliging, but, at least it's, it's fixed now. But, you got to set your boundaries. Don't talk to me that way. Stay away from me. If you've got nothing nice to say, keep your toxins back there with you. I would sage the house sometimes. And then she'd be like, don't come in and sage my room. I don't like the smell of that. And it's because it's heavy energy. I mean, when you got stuff flying off the shelves and stuff, like, there's an energy going on in here. And I'd be like, okay, just, keep all the beasts back there with you, because I've stayed right in front of her door and they couldn't get out, just staying in there with you, all of this monster energy. But it is about you, it is about you going and learning, like, what am I getting from this? What am I supposed to be getting from this? You can't go in and fix them. You can't go in and heal stuff for them. They can't even hear what you're saying. They don't hear the words how you mean them. It's just a complete miscommunication, because it's a split reality, and they're still in this part where they aren't fully woke up. Because once you get to the point of being awake, you completely look at how you treat people so different. And it's so clear when you can see who is there and who isn't. Because spiritually, when you connect with yourself, it changes your behavior, it changes your outlook, it changes everything about you. Because your soul is awake and it's guiding you. But when they are just trying to survive in this three-dimensional world, and they're caught up in survival and trying to adapt to this weird reality that keeps changing on them, and they've got such a desire to be acknowledged for their virtue and how, they're better than everybody else, It's so funny, too, because yesterday I was talking to one of my daughters, and she had this on the phone in her own house with her husband. And, my opinion on that. So I'm honest about Stella, I'm talking. I'm honest about my opinions. Hey, I'm talking, please. And so I'm honest, about what I think about it. And I told her, and I said, hey, we got a class action lawsuit here. hurry up and get out of law school, because, you know, they've withheld this valuable information from us for all these years. All we needed was a piece of paper across our face and we would be healthy. Like, oh my God, all the times I worked at the hospital and I got sick from sick people, and I could have just had that damn piece of paper over my face and I would have been good to go. Yeah, it's time for a class action lawsuit. They shouldn't have held this information back from us for so long. So, anyways, I said a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, what was I going to say? It was something. But anyways, they completely 100% believe all of this stuff, all of this narrative, you know, that this is all true. So I was telling my friend about it this morning. We were talking because she had an incident at a place yesterday now in Australia where now you're refused unless you're wearing the blue one. You can't wear anything else, of course, because, you know, the people who own those have got to make their money, especially because they know the agenda or the narrative's falling apart. It's like, hurry up. We need a few billion more dollars. So anyways, I was telling her, it is so mental. It is like these people who aren't awake yet. Like you could, the government could just say, okay, we've got these markers. We want you to go down there and get a marker, put a big red dot on your head, and you're okay. These markers are magic. They will keep you healthy. They will keep you safe. And walk around, just put that big red dot on your head. And that is, I swear to God, that's how this feels. It's like they're all walking around and they think like, oh, I got the dot. What's wrong with you? It's just a dot. All you got to do is put the dot. And it's like, yeah, but what about the dot doesn't work? Why? Why would I do that? So I can walk around looking like a fool? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not doing it. And yeah, they're just it is so much like that. And if you don't have the red dot, then you're not a good person. And they all want the biggest red dot they can find. And but it's because they're all just, you know, trapped in this illusion of, you know, what these controllers desire, you know, the direction they're trying to lead us, you know, and they're just really caught in the web. They are so caught in the web, it is like the spiders already started cocooning them, you know. And that's going to be a scary place to wake up. I mean, real scary. Wake up and you're in the fucking cocoon. Like I said, so many of them are waking up in the lion's mouth. And so when you're going through this stuff with these people, and, you know, it's just horrible, it's isolating, and it just feels defeating. It makes no sense why, when you're spiritually woke up, that you would feel so bad and it would pull you away from people. But it pulls you away from people because you start seeing what you won't accept. It starts elevating you and moving you into a place where you will be around people who are more like-minded like you. So it is like how people think of manifesting. Oh, you just sit there and you say 100 times a day, I have $1 million, I have $1 million, I have you know, the money tree, whatever. It isn't. It's about you directing your energy towards your own value. So you, you know, being aware of these people like treating you poorly, it is because it's increasing your awareness. And it is moving you towards something that is more to your own vibration. So a lot of people, you know, are being around situations. I mean, this is breaking up. Tons and tons of families are breaking up over this. Because people got married with people that they weren't in alignment with. They got married for all the wrong reasons. And then they try and stay married for all the wrong reasons. So everybody's been living these toxic lives, and this all is happening to move us out of living these toxic lives, because we've been living this way for so long. The world had to collapse so that we didn't have anything else to stand on. It's like the bridge, we're all trying to run across the bridge, and the slats are falling out into the water as we go. But that is what has to happen. You have to find your own sanity, your own safe place. And when you know your own value, it's going to be much better. But, you know, a lot of times we have to go through this place where it is that it is witnessing people who just don't treat us the way we want to be treated, that we know we have more value and they don't value us the way we value ourselves. And that is a huge part of this expansion of self that's happening. So when you're in this toxic environment, you're just trying to care for yourself, you don't have people to talk to, you're very isolated, you're very alone, and it's lonely, and feel your emotions. Don't let people tell you, like, it's their limitations where they want to say, oh, you can't feel anger. Oh, you can't feel sadness. That you're not spiritual if you feel sad or if you feel angry. Yeah, you can feel all the emotions. It's mastering those emotions. What do you do with them when you feel them? How do you handle them? Do you rage? Do you freak out? Do you say mean things? Do you try and hurt people back? Or do you center and you grow and you expand? And it is a very lonely place. I've heard so many people who are on the spiritual path say how lonely it is, especially, there's a certain part that is just very isolating. You lose so many people that you thought were, your people. And then you start seeing like what's inside of them and their real attitudes. And you just start looking at things very, very differently. And it is moving you towards your best life. And whatever the process is, it is part of the process. And it can seem hard and it can seem overwhelming, but, just remember, however hard and stuff your stuff is, that just shows your warrior spirit. That just shows really how strong your spirit is when it takes on so much. And it is, your soul knows you can get through it, and your soul wants its avatar to trust it and to learn how to master its emotions and find balance even when things are at its worst, because we need to be able to be okay when things aren't good. Why should everything fall apart? And that is the chaos that we've lived in for so long. They've created, chaos and division, and, they keep us always under, their, it's like a cortisol serotonin strain, because they are constantly, creating crises. So they keep everybody on edge all the time, but the developers of this situation, they provide a lot of chemicals, a lot of drugs there for, people. So there's a reason why they do this. But the more you can pull into yourself and realize, like, oh, this is all just to try and keep me feeling bad. How do I feel good in a place where they just want me to feel bad? And that is where those kind of things where you go out and walk in nature. I mean, Olympia is beautiful. For sure. And I would love to see some videos of some sunsets. I would like to know what's going on over there, because over here it's weird. But it is so much about just finding, things that make you feel good. Like maybe you have a really great artist inside of you and it's trapped and didn't know. And, I want you to stop focusing on what these people think of you and start focusing on your own talents and what you have inside of you that's busting to get out. And, and any kind of creative artistry kind of, journaling, anything that you do can be, there's one thing is that I have noticed is how many stories, like how many movie adaptions we've got going on right now. Like we've got so many stories going on. Any writer, I would think, man, you have got, that's an endless with the stories that are out there right now. I think of them all the time, but I don't have that same drive or motivation to go write them. I've got my 8 journals. I need to start editing once I get done with this, my Christmas present. Then I'm going to start working on that. But, any of the things that you can do that pulls your energy into you, that develops more about you. And the more you can detach from their energy and their attitude and let them own it. you know, and if they come out and, you know, say a bunch of like raggedy ass shit, you don't have to respond. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to give them what they're looking for. You know, there was a lot of times I just look at them, look away. Just don't even, why acknowledge, you know, I mean, when a child is having a temper tantrum, you know, a 1-year-old's out there, you know, laying on the ground, kicking and screaming, life's too hard, ah, fuck everything. You know, are we going to run over there? Or are we going to just let them, you know, work it out? And that's what we got to think of with some of these people, because in their development stage, in their consciousness, they are, you know, that's basically what is happening. They're having a little temper tantrum, like a little baby, you know, and oh, if you would just be different, I could feel better. If you would be different, I could feel better. You know, they haven't gotten to that place yet to pull in their energy and figure out who really can make them feel better. And, you know, it's all in here. It isn't anything outside of there. That is only what you use your time or your energy or whatever towards, like, you know, developing your skills in some way. So the more that you pull your energy towards you, and, you know, if you like to just go for walks or go sit on the beach, you know, and the water brings powerful, it's very, there's so much messages and everything. Like even when I'm taking a shower, I'm talking to the water. The water is energy. It's alive. It's real. And everything around us is. And, you know, I mean, it's real crazy. There's so much about this reality that's so crazy, especially because, you know, we can't see atoms, but somehow we are all of these things you can't see, but you can see us. So there's just, you know, all of this stuff it's an illusion. It's like a hologram. It's like it seems real and it feels real, and somehow they're able to change it and make it, you know, change its physicality somehow, or otherwise it's just us waking up and seeing that it's not what they've told us. I'm not sure yet what's happening. I just know something's happening. But when you can really, you know, pull in your own, I went off on something that, it's like I hit a fork in the road. Okay, let me see if I can. So if you pull back into, you know, keeping yourself centered and going out and, you know, going for walks or whatever, it makes them have to also own their own stuff. Because one thing I noticed, I think it was like 2020 or something, and I noticed that every time I would say something, especially in the beginning when I was trying to tell the kids, like, but wait, I looked it up. The T-Dog didn't do that. The news is lying. That didn't happen. And oh my gosh, they were just so freaking triggered. They could not even at all wrap their heads around that. I started noticing that if I argued with them, it just gave them more place to argue, where they just put their feet in more grounded. They just dug in more in their, you know, to this narrative. And so I just pulled back. I was like, oh, I'm not going to, and plus they're just filling their suitcases with more shit to unpack later that they're going to feel shitty about. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to argue with them. It's pointless. I mean, they're only going to see what they're going to see. And so when we're dealing with any people on any of these different things, they are not seeing things the same way as us. They're seeing things very, very different. And their perspective on life is very, very different. It's very narrow. It's very small. And they haven't had their, you know, their spiritual enhancement yet, their expansion. So it is, you know, it's pointless to try and have like, you know, like, oh, you make me feel this way or whatever. Just detach and let them own their own stuff. And if it takes a while, you know, a lot of us have toxic relationships that we've developed over years and years and years, and it's going to take a while to change those. You know, even in the water, it takes a while for something to change directions. So we have to be, you know, directing the energy the way we want it to be. and we have to face things. But whatever the things are, like maybe you need to face some stuff in yourself while your soul is staying there, so you can see some things in yourself so that you can heal them, because everything that is being shown to us is so that we can purge it out, so we can release it. It's not to punish you and show you like, oh, see, you're a really shitty person, you deserve this, you just got bad karma, you just deserve this shit. It's not about that. So if you can, really look at each situation differently, like they come out screaming and yelling or whatever they're doing, ignoring you, whatever they're doing, go into your own feelings and really go deeper into them and see. And I always I'll ask, the consciousness that's around me that's showing me these things. I'll ask them, what am I supposed to see in this? And they'll tell you, or they'll show you. So a lot of times, though, people don't trust. They don't believe it's true. They don't believe it's real. So therefore, it can't be, oh, that's just my brain telling me what I want to hear. So that is where you have to, it's part of this is developing your own dialogue between your higher self, your guides, the consciousness that's around you. It's about you beginning to adapt to this other state of being so that you can live your life through, soul's perspective. And so everything that is happening is just so that you can grow and expand yourself. So if you can, any situation, just go into it and look at it deeper. And then it may just come to the same point is that I did, is just like, I gotta release this, this can be figured out in the, the boardroom kind of situation, in death. If we need to still work this out, we'll talk about it then, because I don't see what, I can't see it. But some stuff is coming from within them. And if they can't see it, all I can see is like, you've got a problem with me and I don't know, there's nothing I can do to fix this. There's nothing I can do. And I'm not going to change. I'm me. And this is who I am. And if you don't like me, then you need to take control of your life and get away from me. Because I'm not going to change so that you can feel better. I'm going to be me because I feel good being me. I've developed my own self, and but we're gonna, as this is going, we're going to have people that are going to come at us hard and strong and want to hold us back. They want to hold us back in this toxic environment that they're used to. Everybody's used to what life was, and life's about to be so uncomfortable because everything is changing. People are not going to understand, like, well, if there's no money, what does that mean? If my house has no value, what does that mean? If I can't run down to a store and buy what I need, what does that mean? Like, people are not going to, there's going to be a huge transition. So people have a lot to go through. And I know that there's more people. It's not just, a few of us. There's a lot of us that are living in these situations where we are the outsider and we can recognize other people's treatment of us, and they just don't. So just keep focusing on yourself. And if somebody is treating you really bad, you have to be looking at yourself and being like, why are you allowing this for you? Why are you allowing this person, them to treat you this way? And that's a big thing to heal. Why we let people treat us bad, because we all do it. And it's important for us to stop and to learn that we need to love ourselves first. And when we love ourselves first, I'm telling you, once you can accept yourself for all of your flaws and who you are, and love yourself no matter what, then it helps you to accept others. And like, I can see people's complete toxic behavior, and I can just let it go. Just like, it's a lot when somebody's with you day in and day out, and just beating you down and purging out their toxins onto the environment. And especially if it's your own house and you don't want to, I don't want to be held responsible for somebody being homeless. So I had to just keep looking at myself and keep looking at like, how do I get through this? How do I continue to function in this scenario? Because I'm really feeling beat down. I'm feeling off my own path. I'm feeling like this person's attitude of feeling like I'm crazy all the time is beginning to get into my skin, where I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm starting to feel crazy. I'm starting to be pulled more into their reality. And I need to shift back out into my reality because their reality is toxic. And, so there's a lot of stuff to learn when you're going through this, but just try and detach from every little scenario kind of, and think about yourself and how you can expand yourself, because there really is lots of lessons. I learned a lot from, that thing I learned. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go in, you could try and have heart-to-heart talk. You can try and do everything. Apologize. You can apologize to somebody 200 times, and it will not, it makes no difference, because all of our learning and our healing comes from within. And it doesn't really matter. You can acknowledge something that you did to somebody over and over and over, but it isn't what is important, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure on some levels that, it's very important for you to apologize for your behavior and to redeem yourself, because there's a lot of toxic behaviors that people have been a party to. But there's another segment, of people who have just lived their lives and wasn't trying to do anything or harm anybody and was trying to be a nice person, and it still affected people in their own way. But it's their soul's journey. It's what they are here to learn, and they just don't want to get too into themselves yet because they want to blame everybody else for making them feel bad. But the shift's going to happen. There's going to be a shift, and it's going to flip this world upside down. And it has to happen, and we can see why it has to happen. And all of us who are awake, it's going to feel good. I think it's going to feel so much better, there's going to be a sense of feeling better, but it's also going to be painful, because we're going to see a lot of people go through a lot of pain. Oh my gosh, my nose starts tingling right when I say that, because I know it. I can feel it. I can feel there's going to be a lot of pain, and but there's going to be a lot of healing. So anyways, it's just do whatever it takes for you to get through this. And I don't mean like, go down and buy some heroin and some alcohol or something and, eat yourself into oblivion or whatever. No, I'm talking about like getting in touch with your own self and asking yourself, like, what do you need? I know this person is making you feel like shit. What do you need? How can we get through this together? A lot of the stuff where people do the inner child work, like I've said before, it's basically the same thing. Your inner child is who you were, your soul when it was born here, and that talk to them, treat them like they are separate from you. I treat my body, I treat everything as it's a separate thing from me, in the sense that I talk to it, just like talk to the water. I talk to my body. I talk to the consciousness that's around me. I ask questions, and they give answers. So anyways, I know I've rambled on a long time about this stuff, but it is important, and this is a hard thing to do, is to stay true to yourself when everything and everyone around you is different, and they think you're the problem. So and sometimes I'll even find myself just kind of like snickering inside myself, like, oh, it's kind of cringy for them, because, they're going to be so exposed to themselves so soon. And they're going to see themselves in a completely different light. And like I've said before, a lot of people are not going to be ready. Their ego, they're not ready for the humility. They're not ready to humble themselves. So, and that's what it takes, you have to look at yourself. So anyways, I'll just wrap it up. There was some other stuff too, or something. Oh, I was gonna say, if anybody else is bored and looking for something to watch, yesterday I got on a whole little like a little vein of Lifetime movies, old ones too, really old. They're like from the 70s and stuff, and well, it's just so weird when you go back and you watch those movies about when I was growing up and how what our indoctrination was, what our programming was, and how we were being directed and how they were directing society and stuff, because it was clear in those movies, and I remember being there. I remember what it was like, and you can just see it. It's just so weird. But so this morning I found one. It's a British crime drama thriller. I love those. Um, One good thing too, typically when you find stuff from another country, they don't have such hardcore sex and stuff like Americans. Like America, I mean, ours is all corporate CIA owned media. So, they are just trying to create Sodom and Gomorrah kind of nobody care for each other, just go for empty sex everywhere. And they've got a direction they're trying to lead us, so the movies and the programming all are participating in that direction. So anyways, I get kind of like grossed out by some of the stuff because it's just so in your face, it's so disgusting, and people just think it's all like real. That's the way we should live, that's the way life is, that's how we should all live. It's just, but it's consciousness, it's just underdeveloped. So anyways, this show looks like it's gonna be good. I just started. It's kind of creepy. This guy runs over his wife in the driveway. That's how it starts, and but he doesn't remember it. So it says it's part 1, 2, and 3. So it's kind of like a little mini series. But anyways, if you're looking for something to watch, might be good. Oh, I don't even know the name of it, do I? I'll look real quick. So. Anyways, that is part of the thing. I mean, I used to tell my daughter, because she just wanted to bury her head in the sand. And that's why I kept noticing, like, a lot of these people, they don't know what Joe's doing. They have no idea because they've buried their heads in the sand. And it is important for us to come up and look around and see and understand what this reality is, because they have no clue. They are so caught up in the narrative. They have no clue. So it's important to not just detach your brain from life, but you also have to know your own psyche and what you can handle, and know when you need to turn shit off and when you need to take time to yourself, because everything is about this mastery and balance of your emotions and your healing and stuff. Okay, so this movie is called State of Mind, and it's 2010, and it's parts 1, 2, and 3. The channel is Rare British Crime Drama Channel. I don't know. I like British crime drama. So I'm going to go watch that. And I've only got a few things. And it's down to, on my crocheting, down to some black things in my eyes. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even sleep. My shoulder is so sore. Like, I've been kicking my own ass. There's no doubt about it. And my body is telling me, like, okay, girl. But I'm down to the end, luckily. But my eyes are just fucked. And I'm on a black hat and a black scarf. Oh my God. My eyes, I can only do like a couple stitches and then I just can't see anything. It just goes away. It's just like this keeps going away. I really, really want these, I'm so anxious for the med beds. I'm so anxious. I'm not even as anxious anymore about the financial thing. When I first started hearing Charlie talk about it and I started paying attention and started looking, and I started going like, oh, this is real. This is happening. This is for real. And I stopped paying all my credit card. And we had just got back from Costa Rica, and I had let each of these daughters have a credit card. Mine were up there. And I was just like, fuck this. I'm not paying. And that was a year and a half ago or something. And just stopped paying all of the creditors. And for a while, I wasn't even paying the house. And I thought it was going to all collapse before that, but it keeps going. And now at this point, I've already gone into that thing like, fuck the banks. I'm not paying their shit. I've paid the interest of this shit. I've paid for what I've gotten over and over and over. So, anyways, my mind changed. That's why I kept being like, it's your mind. When you pull yourself out of their system, it doesn't have the same kind of impact. Like a creditor can call. It's like, fuck that bitch. I don't give a shit. This is a trap. This is a game. This is something they've done on purpose. They can kiss my ass. So I don't feel as much. I mean, I'm excited for the Jubilee, and I know it's about to happen, and I know all of it is going to be, and I know we're moving into quantum medical, this quantum physics, this giant quantum leap that we're about to have in our natural world. And, so, it's about detaching. Like, there's no free, I can't even believe this school bus and these people putting their kids on it. There's no freaking way I would have pulled out of that system. And my kids would be at home learning, or we would be traveling, no, but at some point, I would teach them about the world by traveling and taking them and letting them meet other people and learn things and learn from other people. All you really need to do is learn how to read and write and use a calculator, and then the rest of it is like an emotional kind of intelligence that we need. We need to have understanding. We need to have concept of other people's realities and what life is like for everybody, so that we stop judging everybody. So it's all about pulling free from their systems. But the med beds, that's the one where it's just like, come on. But I think we're close, and I think that we're really close to this shift occurring. Even though this is the longest drug out situation, who knew? But, if our guides told us some of this stuff ahead of time, like they tell me certain things and I'm just like, what? And there's a lot of things, like if your guides told you in 2017, in a couple of years, you're going to be locked down, you're going to go and fight with people over these, you're going to be filling your body with every toxin possible, then, would you believe them? No. So there's a lot of things that, you just don't know that's coming, and it's hard to wrap your head around. It's going to be hard to understand, but we're headed for something really, really magical. And the more that we can stay focused on our own healing, it puts us far ahead of the game. And while other people are healing, we're going to be learning how to master, our kinetic, being able to, what is that called? Is it called I know it's called kinetic with the energy, but what is it called when you can move things, like carry or whatever. People are going to be learning about that and understanding about what it means when you can, we're all psychic. We're all connected. So we all have these things, these abilities, and the people who are awake right now are going to be learning a lot more about the mastery of who and what you are, while other people are still going to be in their healing phase. So, we're going to really exciting times, and it is going to be super important over your skills, your own skills, what you can do to, and it's not going to be as dramatic as what they've tried to create, where you have to have all of these papers, you need to hang them on your wall and frames, and be proud of these papers, as the government said, you're smart. I mean, freaking people, college graduates, have we met, that don't have a goddamn lick of sense. I know some, so it doesn't make a difference over if you're smart because they handed you a piece of paper. It's just like in The Wizard of Oz. Here, we're giving you this piece of paper. You're smart now. That's what they do. And that's what they trick people. But the arrogance and the ego that is associated with most people's souls wants to believe that. They want to believe, especially in these other ages where it was all competition and who's good and who's bad and all that. But, the shift is moving us out of that. And the more that you can shift with your own self, the more it will be a gentle shift for you. So anyways, I've really been talking a long time. So I'm going to go watch my crime drama and, try and get a couple rows in on this hat, and just look forward to the future, because we really do have a lot of great things coming, even though this just feels like, we're busting out of hell. That's what it is. We're in hell and we're busting free. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.